I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and this is part 2 of the HTC EVO 4G LTE full video review. Let's pick up where we left off. Starting right off into part 2, one of my favorite things about the EVO 4G LTE, and actually most of HTC's devices for 2012, the level of personalization you get. It's really improved in a lot of ways in Sense 4 thanks to Ice Cream Sandwich. But before we get into the nitty gritty, special thanks to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like the EVO 4G LTE for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game. So we turn around and give those devices to you on the site. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk in paying the after rebate price. You won't have to walk in, wait 8 to 10 weeks for some messy paperwork, wait for that $100 or that $50 to come back in the mail. You're good to go at Best Buy Mobile. Yes, I did just itch my arm on camera. That's okay. You know what? It's live. That's what we have to do. That's just part of the improv thing. Here's the HTC EVO 4G LTE, and I want to show you some of these personalization options that I'm talking about here, because obviously widgets have been around for some time, both in Android and in the various versions of Sense. But I want to show you the difference here in the way that the personalization screen works. So I pressed and held on the displays you saw. So this pops up. You have a couple of different options here between apps and shortcuts, but you're going to notice a lot of widgets to scroll back and forth between here. And then of course you can go up here to all widgets, come down here, and let's say I'm looking for a calendar widget. I'll come down to HTC, and there are my separate HTC calendar widgets. Now my big issue with past videos, and if you watch my videos regularly, you know this, I can go into the calendar, for example, put it on an empty home screen, which I like the fact that it shows which ones are empty and which ones aren't. So I can throw the calendar on there, and this is one of my favorite features. One of my gripes about Sense is gone with Sense 4, and actually I just used a bad widget to demonstrate that. Let's go back and do the agenda widget, for example. Quite a few of HTC's widgets are now customizable in terms of size. So I can come in here, for example, and change the way the agenda widget looks, change the size around a little bit. Huge thing there, was not available in previous versions of Sense. That's partially due to Ice Cream Sandwich and some of the stock ICS widgets, but still, that's an HTC widget, and the customization is there, which is nice. So I can come in here, for example, to Gmail, add a Gmail widget right up here on this screen. I'll go to the inbox, and so there is my Heron Baker widget, which I can resize and change around if I so please. Actually, I can't change the size of that one. That's about all I can do with it. And for those of you that ask, this is Battery Life by Curvefish. It's a great little widget. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. You'll see it on quite a few of my Android reviews and dogfights. But I like that personalization. You also get a custom screen here. So we'll go into Personalize, and you can see the ability to change the skin, the wallpaper, the lock screen style, the home screen, the scene, and more. So I can go in here and not only change the wallpaper, but I can change the skin also. So if I don't like this black, I can come up here and say, well, let's change it to the serene theme. And when I press apply, you're going to notice some color scheme changes, and then of course the background will change by default, but you can always change that back if you so desire. But we'll load it up here so you can take a look at what I mean. And then when I'm in menu, you'll notice the colors have changed. The orange colors now, they're kind of an orange and green color scheme as opposed to black on black or gray on black. And then of course the dock down here at the bottom is a little bit different as well. Now HTC Sense version 3, say Sense 3 times fast, Sense version 3, they have a nice little lock screen here that you can change around with a ring. I either press and hold the ring and then remove it to unlock it, or I can take those individual applications and put them down in the ring to open those individually. I can change those around as well, in addition to changing the style. So let's say I want the weather to display. I can change it to the weather, so it'll show that on a regular basis. I actually am a big fan of this one because it shows all the productivity stuff in one place. So I can see text messages, missed calls, emails, calendar stuff, and more. So productivity is a new one, and I'm a really big fan of that one. Then you have the lock screen shortcuts, which you can go in here and we'll do settings, for example. And actually, I take it back. They changed this with Sense 4. Now, whatever's down in here. So, for example, we'll take camera out. We'll throw the internet application down in there. And then I'll turn it off and back on. And you can see internet is now one of the 4. So it all corresponds to what you have down here in your individual dock. You don't have the option to change those in the menu anymore. That's something that died with Sense 3 and Sense 3.5. But still a lot of personalization, and you'll also notice that the carousel effect is now gone. Let's take a look at Quadrant Standard and load that speed up, because I think you'll be really impressed. When these first came out, I was like, Snapdragon in comparison to a quad-core Tegra processor, this thing's gonna suck, quite frankly. It was the first thing that came to mind at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, but I have been incredibly impressed with the speed of the S4. Not a huge fan of the S3, it lags and has some issues. S4 is absolutely fantastic. I think you'll be really impressed with it. Speed tests have been on par, if not greater in some cases, than NVIDIA's quad-core Tegra 3 processor. So we'll take a look here, and not to say that it's not a great processor as well, but you got some choice, which is nice. There's no longer a huge discrepancy between processors. Overall, call quality's been very good on this. I've been incredibly impressed with the battery life on this thing. 2,000 milliamp hour battery, and granted, it's not running LTE yet in any market, but I mean, I've been able to make it easily through a day, actually about halfway through a second day with moderate use before the device requires a recharge. And also, the standby time is fantastic on the EVO 4G LTE. I left it by my desk on a weekend, didn't touch it, and came back Monday and used it partially through Monday before it required a recharge. That's a pretty impressive combination of standby and of actual use. So 4,913 in quadrant standard, again, doing a great job there. 4,913, beautiful display. Hopefully you saw that with the colors there. And then we'll go in here and take a look at speed test as well. Let me throw it off Wi-Fi, kick this back and throw it off Wi-Fi so we can get a look and feel at Sprint's 3G network. It's been less than adequate, and I want to show it to you here. We'll wait for 3G to load up, and then we'll go back into speed test. It's been absolutely terrible in quite a few metro areas. It's not just a Charlotte thing. I've tested it recently in Atlanta, in Dallas, in San Francisco, and it's been actually in New Orleans as well. Between this device and some of the other recent Sprint 3G devices, and it's been absolutely terrible to say the least. I'll show you some of the speed test numbers when we're done here. But call quality's been decent. As a phone, you're going to get great service here, and this is one of Sprint's first devices to launch with HD voice capability. So when HD voice launches later in the year on the Sprint network, you'll be able to take advantage of it on the HTC EVO 4G LTE. But you can see just terrible download speeds, terrible upload speeds as well. Very poor, 0.17 megabits per second. And I'll show you the results when we get through this in just a minute. So you can see upload speeds not even moving. The meter's really, I think the meter might be stuck. It's that bad. Absolutely terrible. But while that's loading, we can take a look again at the design of the device here. Sprint logo on the back, HTC, and then again, very thin profile, and I'm really a fan of the way that this one looks in comparison to the One X. Obviously very subjective. You may love the One X, you may love the One S. I actually like the One S a lot in terms of size, but if I were to carry the bigger one, I prefer the EVO 4G LTE. The One X is a little bit too rounded for me, and I'm one of like 6 people in the world that does not like the polycarbonate. I actually prefer some level of metal on my device. So to have this and have this kind of industrial look and feel, very, very nice. Actually, I promised I'd show you the speed. So let's go in here and take a look at the results. And you can just see terrible. I get some peak time during like off-peak times, 11:30 at night. Somehow I got 1.1 megabits per second. That's what it should be at every time, every day. 1.1 megabits per second. Unfortunately, you can see 0.45 here late at night. But then during the meat of the day, you can see 0.17 megabits per second. You can see 0 there. You can see 0.12, 0.11, 0.14. Absolutely terrible throughout the workday. And this is all around Charlotte and in New Orleans when I was testing it there. Let's get into this too, because this is where this product excels. This is the first camera, in my opinion, that goes head-to-head against the iPhone, and in a lot of cases beats the camera on the iPhone 4S. My biggest gripe about this thing, and my biggest gripe about Android cameras as a whole, I need an option to resize the pictures on the go. I need to be able to put this picture in an email, and it should say, do you want a small version, a medium version, or a large version? That should be out of the box. No questions asked. That's the one reason why I still use the 4S, because I can easily email pictures, and I do that on a regular basis. So we'll bring in the Samsung Focus 2, and you can see that it auto-focused in right there. And 2 of my favorite features. One is burst mode, which you can see there. And of course it takes all those pictures. I can pick the best shot and then delete the ones that I don't want when I'm done. Of course I can go in here. I should be able to say, yeah, select all. Let's delete all those. Or I can save them if I so desire. Another cool feature, and this is a feature, again, that's on a couple of Android handsets, but I really like the implementation on the HTC side. I'm recording, I can snap still pictures as well while I'm recording. So you can see those storing in the gallery. When I'm done with the recording, save the video, and then I can see the video in addition to the stills that I took. And look at the quality of these stills. I mean, incredible, absolutely incredible camera. The camera alone actually bests the camera on the iPhone 4S. Finally, there's a device that knocks the 4S off of its camera throne. That said, gotta have a feature in here where I can automatically resize the pictures when I'm sending stuff quickly to email. I'm taking a quick shot at an event and sending it to one of my editors. I've got to have an ability to quickly say I need a medium or large size, and I need that out of the box. That's the biggest reason why I default back to the 4S so regularly, at least in terms of the camera. So you got some nice settings here where you can change the resolution. 8 megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording, and I want to show you the gallery here. We'll take a look at some of the pictures I did in New Orleans as well. Let's see what we got here. Here we go. So you can see some of the pictures from New Orleans. We were looking at a cemetery, and I have one. Let me see if I can find it. This is the one that I'm really impressed with. Take a look at here. We're going to zoom in and take a look at the quality. And take a look at how texturized. You can see the graphs, you can see the flag, just incredible camera quality. This is an awesome device. This is one of the best, if not the best, Android device in the market, in my opinion. I like this one better than the One X. It's got some great improvements, better battery, a kickstand. This is subjective. I actually prefer the design of this one to the One X. But if this device were on any other carrier, I'd carry it in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, Sprint's 3G network is really struggling right now, and I think for a lot of people, while they're waiting that couple of months, all the way up to a year, to get 4G LTE in their markets, they're going to really struggle with Sprint's 3G data speed. So that's something to keep in mind. If you can put up with it, you use Wi-Fi a lot, it is an awesome device, and it's going to be available soon for $199.99 on Sprint. Special thanks to HTC for hooking us up with a review unit, and much more coverage to come on the EVO 4G LTE on PhoneDog.com. Keep it locked on the site. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. I'd especially love to hear which one you like. You know, is it the One X, the One S, the One V perhaps, or the EVO 4G LTE? Let me know. Or hey, even the Droid Incredible 4G LTE, which is coming out soon on Verizon. Hit me up, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Let me know on Twitter as well, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at my fan page, Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like it, be sure to head over to PhoneDog's official smartphone rankings and vote for it. PhoneDog.com/rankings. It should be available as soon as the device launches in retail channels. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.